The fact is that regardless of your acting experience or your acting level, commercials are our bread and butter. Now, we all know that the acting skill required for commercials often comes down to, keeping your energy levels up after 12 hours on set, in the cold, repeating the same thing over and over again. Don't get me wrong, there are some that require great skill and great creativity, but generally these are few and far in between. Now, commercials are not Shakespeare, we know that, but they do have their place and they should not be sniffed at. Why? Money, I hear you all shout. Yes, and very, very important, but also exposure. And importantly, connections and relationships. So many of the top casting professionals and many of the top TV and film directors start in commercials. Many even continue to work in commercials throughout their career. Have a think about your favourite director or your, the most well-known casting director you can think of. And 9 times out of 10, you will see a commercial on their CV. So, David Lynch, Catherine Bigelow, Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott has his own production company right here in London, RSA, and they have a fantastic list of directors who are constantly working with the top advertising agencies and producing so many of the adverts that you're seeing on TV all the time. So, really, really important. So, for the last over 15 years I've worked as a producer, and for over 10 of those years I've also worked as an actor, and seeing the audition and casting process from both in front and behind the camera has really been eye-opening and often startling. Why startling? Because so many of us are taking commercials for granted and we're approaching them with little care and little respect. So here is a little reminder, along with some key insights on how to get and maintain success in your commercial castings. Prepare. Read everything. Even if there's no script to learn, read all the information that is available to you beforehand, and your agent should be sending you the spotlight breakdown to read, and if they're not, just chase them up, give them a nudge, because you do need all that information. Quite often casting directors will write notes, and sometimes just words that can give you a really clear indication of what they're expecting and what they're looking for as well. Often they'll include notes from the director too, and these are crucial. The more you know about what the job actually is, the better place you're going to be to understand what's needed at the casting. I've lost count of the amount of times that I've seen people turn up to castings and not even know the name of the company or the brand that they're there for. And it's really surprising. They've obviously just got the word from their agent who said, oh, you've got a casting tomorrow at this place at this time, and they've gone and they've not read anything, they've not thought about it. So what kind of chance do you think they're going to have once they get into the casting if they don't know anything about it? Think about it. Once you've read all the information, have a think about how you can approach that scene and the character. Even if it's just 5 minutes, often that's all that's needed, just 5 minutes of having a read and having to think about it. Have you experienced this scenario before? What can you use and what can you bring to that character or scene? Is there anything that you don't understand or anything that's, unusual that you maybe need to do a little bit more research on or think about in more depth? Don't get caught out with something if you're not sure what it is. It's far better just to spend a minute and find out beforehand before you go in. Is there something different that you can bring to the scene as well? Something that's going to make you stand out, something that's not so obvious. And something that's quite important as well, and the notes should give you an indication of this, is, should your delivery be a subtle one or dramatised? And quite often with commercials, they do kind of flip from one to the other, so it's it's really good to know that before you go into the audition, otherwise you're just going to be kind of wasting your time. A lot of people do wing it and they wait to be instructed once in the room, and you will get instructed once that you're in the room, you will get a full run through what they want you to do, but you might only get one take And if you're not ready and you blow that, then that's your opportunity gone. So just take a few minutes and give yourself the best possible chance. Energy. It's fascinating as an actor to watch actors come into the audition room and go through the process. It really is. And watching the audition tapes back is pretty enlightening too, I can tell you. One of the things that constantly baffles me is the amount of actors that come in with either no energy and enthusiasm, or energy that is either negative or it's just way off what the brand, the scene, the character is. Now, you can lose that job literally in the moment that you say your name and agent to camera. Seriously, your energy is a huge part of how you are communicating. Really be mindful of your energy levels. Make sure that you are focused, you're alert, you're engaged with the situation and the people. Say your name and agent confidently, positively and clearly down the lens, please. That's just, I know it sounds silly, but it's just one of the things that trips people up so many times, and it's such a simple thing to get right. I do wonder sometimes if this is down to nerves, because nerves really can close you down and make you numb. I think we all know that. But, you know, think about how you're coming across and ensure this is not affecting you or how you're being perceived by people. If you have to, do a test. Shoot it a few times on your own at home with your camera and just watch it back and see what it looks like. Sounds really silly, but it's just such simple things like this that make all the difference. It really does. So really important to remember as well is that, you know, with commercials, you are being chosen to represent a product. So often the people making the decision for commercials will be the client. So this is the marketing professionals at the company, and that's because the client is paying. And they're looking at you in a very different way to a director or a producer. They usually don't have a lot of experience or knowledge about acting. And their primary concern is this the right person to represent our product? So your energy, how you look, how you come across are vital, and sometimes above your acting skills. Yeah, commercials are very different to TV, film and theatre. And a lot of that is down to the people that are involved and those who are making the decisions. You do need to have a little bit of a different approach when you're going into commercials. Attitude. Now, I know what it's like. You are rushing to a casting in your lunch break. You maybe had a fight with your partner last night and you're still reeling. You were delayed on the tube. Pret gave you cow's milk in your coffee instead of soy. And this is another casting with no lines that probably doesn't even need acting ability yeah, we've all been there. I get it. But remember this. You've been selected out of probably hundreds of people to be there. Someone is paying for space to see you. That casting director is getting job after job, and they've chosen you for this one. What might they choose you for next? Each one is an opportunity, so really try and keep the bigger picture in mind. Regardless of what's going on around you at the time, and we all have stuff going on, have a reality check with yourself whenever you need to. Just ensure that you keep a professional, respectful and positive attitude at all times. Don't let it slip. I know it's really easy to as well, so just keep it there, don't let it slip. None of us are perfect. You know, we all have our days. You know, I've made some cringe-worthy blunders, and I still will tomorrow, probably. Just do the best that you can. Don't give yourself a hard time when you have an off day. Don't. And think P, preparation, energy, attitude. And lastly, perhaps most important, make sure you're enjoying it. Otherwise, what's the point? Do what you love. I'm Lisa, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.